There's a very strong chance that you have heard of the term SEO. But what really is search engine optimization, and how can you get it working for you and your business today? In this video, I'll do a quick introduction of what SEO is and walk you through the configuration of the Yoast SEO plugin so that you can improve your search results and traffic to your website. Let's do this. Welcome to Introduction to SEO and Configuring the Yoast SEO plugin. I'm Kevin Stryker with TRU LIFT Digital Marketing, and this is video 9 in the Web Presence video series titled How to Easily Create a Web Presence for Your Business, Even If You Have Zero Technical Skills. In the last video, video 8, How to Easily Install 6 Must-Have WordPress Plugins, we installed a number of plugins that all have their place and are all important, but one in particular requires a bit more information to set up effectively, and that is the Yoast SEO plugin. Before we jump into the configuration of the Yoast SEO plugin, it's important to understand what we are after first so we can effectively utilize what we've now got. To do that, I'll quickly give you a rundown of what SEO is and can do for you, just in case you're not sure. If you're watching this video strictly for the configuration of the Yoast SEO plugin, you can skip ahead to the configuration part using a link in the description area below this video. Learning all there is to know about SEO is simply not going to be done inside of a single video, as SEO is a very broad, far-reaching topic. But despite the exponential rise of paid advertising, in particular Facebook advertising, SEO is still a crucial tool to have in your toolbox. So what is SEO? As you may or may not know, SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. So as the name implies, you're trying to optimize your website for search engines. Great, but what does that mean? To explain that, you need to look at not just the search engines, but how it is related to the searcher, the individual looking to find some form of information from the search engine, and you as well, the marketer, who has a website that you want to leverage into more business. If we start with the searcher, their goal is to go to the search engine, type in some search terms or keywords, and find results that satisfy that search. While there are various search platforms that cover a range of searches made by the searcher, everything from Bing, Yahoo, and Ask.com, to YouTube, which has over 3 billion searches on it per month, to other search engines you may not even think of right away, but are in fact search engines like TripAdvisor, Amazon, or iTunes. The one that has the largest share of searches and therefore is targeted most by marketers is of course Google. So for this section, that is the search engine that I will focus on. Google's goal is to take the query or search that the searcher makes and serve up the best results to the searcher. The better job Google does of serving up the best results for the searcher, the more Google will be used, which ultimately translates into more ad revenue for Google, from marketers that are also looking at paying for ads on Google. As a marketer, your goal is to get as many impressions and as much traffic as you can from Google so that you can grow your business. While you may also use paid traffic sources within Google or other platforms to get traffic, for the purpose of this SEO explanation, what we are referring to here is free traffic, also known as organic traffic, that you receive by ranking high in the search engines. The higher your website ranks in the search engines for relevant keywords relating to your product and or services or content that you have on your website, the greater the opportunity for a searcher to click on the search result that contains your website, and therefore the more traffic your website will see. To sum that up, quite simply, the better optimized your site is, the higher your rankings in the search engines, which means more clicks to your site or traffic, which, if you have effectively monetized your site, translates into more revenue. To rank high, you have to effectively optimize your website, which is search engine optimization, and produce interesting and engaging content. Yoast SEO is a tool to help you effectively optimize your website to get more clicks and more traffic to your website, which hopefully means more revenue for you. To illustrate this in a different way, if a searcher does a Google search, say for the search term chemical-free water bottles, they are served up a number of results, 10 organic searches per page, and perhaps some additional ad results at the top and bottom of the results page, or even on the right side. The first result in this example is a paid ad from cannedwaterforkids.com, but below it are organic search results. If I scroll to the bottom, you can see all the organic search results, and in some cases, as in here, another ad. If you are a marketer who sells water bottles, and specifically chemical-free water bottles, when someone types in those keywords or other keywords related to the product or service you sell, ideally you want to be on the first page in the first organic position, as the first result typically gets the most clicks. How you get there is by optimizing your posts, pages, and entire site for search engines, and like I said, the Yoast SEO plugin that you installed in the last video can help you do just that. Let's configure that plugin now. So if I click either up here or down here on the side, it opens up the Yoast SEO plugin in the dashboard of the plugin. As I mentioned in the last video when we installed the plugin, in the dashboard here you can find various problems and notifications that Yoast is suggesting to help you improve the optimization of your website. This top problem is related to the fact that I have not launched this site yet, and therefore the search engines are not able to index it. If I were ready to launch this site, I could just click on the Click Here link at the top to launch the site and get rid of the Coming Soon message that is presently on my site. I'm not quite ready yet, so I'll just leave that for now. I am aware of this issue, and I will remedy it when I'm ready. And the same thing with the default tagline issue, that I am aware of as well. If I wanted to change that, I could either click here, or go to Appearance, Customize, and then Site Identity to change that. I'll just close that for now and go back to the Yoast dashboard. At any time, you can go to the Help Center here to get information on your respective area of interest. It contains great information, including videos for most sections, a knowledge base to provide some answers, and failing that, the option of email support. So feel free to come here whenever you have immediate questions. If you click on the General tab, there is the option to go through with a configuration wizard that will walk you through a quick setup of some parts of the plugin. What I am doing in this video is basically a bit more detailed configuration of the plugin than is provided here, with my thoughts and comments to help you understand why I feel things are the way they are. Credits and restore default settings are pretty self-explanatory. Since I didn't make any changes, there's nothing to save here. I'll just move on to the Features tab. By default, the Advanced Setting page is disabled. I enabled it in the last video to allow myself to get more features out of Yoast. With the Advanced Settings disabled, on the left-hand sidebar under the Yoast SEO heading, you will only see Dashboard, Search Console, and Go Premium. With it enabled, you will see and be able to go inside of Titles and Metas, Social, XML Sitemaps, Advanced, and Tools, as well as make any changes you want to make inside them. As we will be taking a look inside each one of these areas in this video, I'll leave it enabled. I'll just leave onpage.org and admin bar menu enabled. I didn't make any changes, but if you did, make sure to click Save Changes. Moving right along to the Company Info tab, by default, Yoast pulls in my site name into the website name area, which will show up in Google searches if I don't change it here. I'd like it to read the same as my company name below, TRU LIFT Digital Marketing, so I'll quickly make that change. I've got my logo, so I'll just quickly add it in while I'm here. Just click on Upload Image, and then select the image I'm going to use. This is the one that I want right here. I'll change the title here to TRU LIFT Digital Marketing Logo, and then highlight and copy that, and then paste that in the alt text as well. I'm just going to delete the information in description, and click Use Image. Then I'll just save my changes. This area is only metadata, which means it doesn't show up on your actual site in terms of content on the page, but rather it shows up in the code of your site and affects things like the display of your search results, and then text that is displayed at the top of the tab in your browser, like I'm showing you here, when you or someone else has your website open. You can change how this is displayed if you want, which I'll show you in just a bit. I'll just hit the back button to go back to Yoast. If you click on the Webmaster Tools tab, you have the opportunity to verify any of the Webmaster Tools resources listed here. If you've created either a Bing, Google, or Yandex Webmaster Tools account, you can enter your HTML tag beside the respective tool, and then Yoast will insert that bit of code into your website for you, which is really handy if you're not coding savvy. Once Yoast does do that for you, you can then go back to the tool and verify it. That enables the tool to start working for you by crawling your site and alerting you to critical issues involving your site. This is an important step that you should definitely set up for at least one of these tools. I don't use Bing or Yandex, but I will be using Google Search Console, formerly Google Webmaster Tools, and I'll show you how to put your HTML tag in here in video 12 when I go through setting up your Google Tag Manager to install various tracking codes. Lastly, for the top tabs, if you have multiple authors with access to your WordPress backend, they have the ability to make some changes that affect the SEO of your site. If you have full trust that they will not, intentionally or unintentionally, make detrimental changes, you can enable this feature. But otherwise, or in my case, where for the foreseeable future I will likely be the only author, I will just keep it in the default position of disabled. No changes made, so no saving required. Let's just go over titles and metas. In the General tab, this title separator allows you to customize the separator you have in search results between things like your post title and site name. For example, if we go back to the chemical-free water bottle search example from earlier, you can see the separator in the first result between the blog post title, Best and Safest Reusable Water Bottles, and the site name, Alpha Mom, is this vertical line here called a pipe separator. Down here, they use a dash. It doesn't really affect SEO unless perhaps a searcher is more drawn to the title area as a result of it, etc. So it really is just a personal preference type of thing. If you look at the search result below, where hyphens are naturally used in words like non-toxic and PBA-free, the site name EcoWatch just kind of blends in with the SEO headline. Just personal preference. It's your site. Obviously, do what you want. For me, I've always used the pipe because, for one, I like the way it looks, but also I just want to make sure I clearly separate my site name so it stands out a little more. So I'll click on the pipe in this title separator section. I'll leave readability and keyword analysis at their default, click Save Changes, and move on to the Homepage tab. To explain what we are going to do next in this Homepage tab, I'll just go back to the search results example page quickly. I mentioned earlier that ideally you want to get to the #1 spot on the first page of Google for various keywords relating to your products, services, and your brand. Failing that, to be as high in the rankings as possible and get the greatest number of clicks or traffic back to your website. But the name of the game is not clicks alone, but quality clicks. When I say quality, I mean specifically from those individuals that are most likely to be interested in what you have on your site, and a solid means to do that using SEO is by altering the text that gets displayed in the search result. This entire box of information here is referred to as a snippet, and is made up of your SEO title, which we discussed can contain a number of elements, but often has your page or post title followed by a separator and then your site name, the slug or URL of the respective page, and the meta description. It is your homepage snippet that we will alter using Yoast right away. Depending on how you previously configured your site will determine which screen you see when you click on the Homepage tab inside of Yoast's Titles and Metas section. For my site, I am utilizing a static homepage as my front page, and as such, this is the screen that I come to, and you would obviously too if you went that route. If you were utilizing a blog roll style front page, where your homepage is a collection of your blog posts, then you would see a page like this when you clicked on the Homepages tab. If you're not sure what I mean when I talk about static pages versus blog roll pages, because you haven't yet watched video 7 in this video series, WordPress Basics, or perhaps you forgot, you can go back to that video, or just go to the appearance on the sidebar, then Customize and Static Page, where you will see a screen like this, where you can select a blog roll homepage by clicking your latest posts, or a static page by clicking here. Or you can do the same thing by going to the settings in the sidebar, then selecting Reading. Rather than explain how to change your snippet for both a blog roll and a static page, I'll just illustrate what I will do for a static page, and you can apply whatever you learn there to whichever front page you decide to go with, as the process is similar. I'll just go back to my live home screen then, which is for a static home page. To edit my home page, I'll just click on the Editing the Front Page Itself link, which brings me to the page that I designated as my home page. As you can see here, like I said in a previous video, I will be installing a new theme on my site, which I will show you how to do in video 10, and I'm waiting to do that before I roll up my sleeves on putting the content on this page. So for now it is really just a placeholder since my site is not live yet. You'll notice on the right side an area that says Readability and SEO. As with each page and post, this will give you a quick indication of where Yoast feels you are at with your page or post in those respective areas, which, if you scroll down, you will notice correspond to this Readability tab here and this SEO tab here inside of the Yoast SEO Meta Box. Inside of the SEO tab, you can preview and edit your snippet, and then Yoast gives you an analysis that provides possible ways to improve it. If you enter in a focus keyword that you want to highlight in the page, that will also go into the analysis section in terms of how to improve various aspects of your page to optimize for that keyword. The Readability tab is somewhat self-explanatory, but has some great tips inside it, so feel free to check that out as well. You will notice that Yoast gives you traffic light indicators to let you know how they feel your pages measure up from an SEO perspective based on their research. A red light, or dot, naturally is not good and needs improvement, yellow is middle of the road, and green is good. Going back to the SEO tab, if you click on the Edit Snippet, you will open up the Snippet Editor, where you can make any desired changes to improve your SEO. If you were to edit a blog roll style homepage, the format would be very much the same. By default, the SEO title is pre-populated with variables and placeholders that will pull data from elsewhere in WordPress and use them in the title area of search results. I'll speak more directly about manipulating these variables in just a few moments, but briefly, the double percentage symbols are the placeholders and the text in between them are variables. In this case, the variables that will be pulled into the SEO title are title, page, separator, and site name. The title comes from up above, where you put the title of the page, in this instance home. The page will pull in a page number if you have that enabled elsewhere. The separator is what you established a few minutes ago in the General tab of the Titles and Meta section of Yoast, where I selected the pipe symbol. And then the site name comes from the site title that you either established when you initially installed WordPress or subsequently modified, either in the Appearances tab inside of Customizing and then Site Identity, or inside of the Settings tab and General Settings. In just a moment, I'll show you how you can change the default settings for the SEO title in Pages and Posts, but for now, since the homepage is a special page, the first impression that often greets visitors to your site, I'm going to override the default and just type what I want to show up on the homepage. This is what someone is going to see at the top of the snippet when they see the search results, so you want to first let them know who you are, and then what you can provide for them. If you have a main keyword that you want your homepage to rank for, you may want to try to get that in the SEO title. I'm just going to type TRU LIFT Digital Marketing, my company name. The pipe symbol is a separator, and then effective marketing tips and tools. I remember back from using the all-in-one SEO Pack plugin on previous sites that typically you're safe with about 60 characters in the SEO title and about 160 characters in the meta description. I think Yoast suggests 156 or so. The green bar here is telling me that I have a good length. I'm not really after a specific keyword here. I just naturally put the name of my company and then a summary of what we provide. Reading just this title, a searcher would see that this site belongs to a digital marketing business and that it provides tips and tools related to effective marketing. I'm not going to put a slug in here, as the default is my site's URL, trueliftdigital.com, as is noted in the slug above. And for meta description, I'll just paste something here so that you don't have to watch me type. Okay, so I've got tips and tools to strengthen your web and social presence, generate more leads, and convert more customers, while leveraging marketing automation to increase ROI. Now it looks like the orange bar here is suggesting that my entry is too long. If I shorten it just a bit, there you go, it goes green. If you go too long in either your SEO title or description, Google will truncate your text or cut it off and it will not be visible, as you can see up here in the snippet preview above, where the last few letters of the text are cut off. That is what Yoast believes the snippet will look like in Google. Perhaps I'll try to shorten this, or maybe even make some changes, but for now I'll just keep it the way that it is. For the description, all I did was take the 3 core areas of my business, web presence, lead generation, and marketing automation, and laid it out as what I feel are benefits to those I think would be most interested in what my site has to offer. Whether I fully captured it or not, what you should be going after is something compelling that gives a glimpse of the value that you provide to someone should they click on your site in the search result, while at the same time using keywords that you want your homepage to rank for. You shouldn't have to force your keywords in there. Just naturally communicating what your site is about, those keywords will likely be there, but if not, try to consciously weave them into your description. If we go down to the analysis section of this Yoast SEO Meta Box, we can see here that Yoast is warning me that the description is too long, but it is also saying, as is illustrated with the green circle, that the page title has a nice length. It is just my opinion, but if I was to pass along some advice, definitely be conscious of the suggestions that Yoast makes, but don't always aim for the perfect all green circles. The reason is you can actually over-optimize your pages and posts. Google's algorithm is constantly changing in such a way that it can tell when certain elements of a website are unnatural. I'm not suggesting by using the plugin or getting all green circles that you're doing anything wrong or nefarious or trying to unfairly game the system for higher search rankings and so forth. Just that if you over-optimize your site, there is a chance that your rankings may slide slightly. Just something to be conscious of. Now if we go up towards the top of the meta box, if you click on the share symbol here, you have the opportunity to specifically tailor how your title, description, and images appear in both Facebook and Twitter. The reason you may do this is that while you may be happy with the way your title and description shows up when someone is searching for you in the search engines, perhaps you want to tailor how these appear, particularly when shared in Facebook, because you will be reaching a different audience and you may want to have your message reflect that. If you don't make a change here, Facebook will just pull in the same metadata that search engine viewers see. Facebook will also pull in an image, so you have the ability to tailor that image to whatever you want shown in Facebook as well. The same goes for Twitter if you click on this tab here. Again, perhaps a different audience. If you don't make a change to this Twitter area, Twitter will just pull in the information from the Facebook tab, and if you don't put anything in the Facebook tab, both Facebook and Twitter will pull data from the standard metadata that you set up for the search engines. If you click on the gear icon here for the advanced section, you will be presented with the option of whether or not you want the metadata indexable, meaning whether or not you want Google or other search engine robots or spiders to crawl through your page's code. This is how search engines find your site and the information on it, and whether or not you want the search engines to follow the links that you have on your page. There may be certain times when you don't want your site indexed or your links followed, but when it comes to your home page, you want to put out the welcome mat to Google and others, not discourage them, so this is not one of those times. Just leave things as is. Canonical is kind of advanced, but just refers to the ordering of which pages were created first, or which pages should be used as the go-to page for the content in the eyes of Google's robots when you have multiple pages with the same content. Google wants to see original content as opposed to rehashed information from other pages on your site or potentially copied from other sites. So having duplicate content on your site is an issue that can definitely hurt your search rankings. It's likely not something you need to worry about now, since I'm sure what you'll be putting on your homepage will be original content if you are using a static page. If you are using a blog roll style page, we will deal with potential duplicate content elsewhere. If you do get lost or require more information, as always, feel free to check out the Help Center. Let's just go back to titles and metas and keep rolling. Before I leave this particular area, the Yoast Meta Box below my homepage, I'm just going to go up towards the top and make sure I save any changes I made by clicking Update. Then I'm going to go back to SEO, the Titles and Metas section, and then back into the Home Pages tab, and click Save Changes there, just to make sure it's all saved. So now let's go to post types. Just like we just did with a single page, your home page, on this page what you can do is change your title template and meta description across all your posts, pages, and your media. If you have already added a new theme, or in some cases additional plugins, this area may include more options. This is just the out-of-the-box options for the default theme in WordPress. The reason media is included here as an option is for cases where, as an example using images, you have not edited your images in such a way that clicking on them links to a specific page or post. If someone clicks on an image in one of your posts, for example, and you have not edited that image will be displayed on its own individual standalone page with its own URL. We'll change that shortly so that that image will redirect to the post that it came from. I'm just going to go back up to the top. Now, just like we dealt with in my home page, the post templates contain these double percentage marks that function as placeholders that surround variables. If you're curious what each of these variables represents and which other ones you might want to add in here, etc., just go to the Help Center and scroll down to and click on Basic Variables. This provides a list of variables that you may wish to use. While I'm here, for example purposes, I'm just going to highlight this excerpts variable and copy it. I'll show you where I'm going to use it in just a moment. If you want to see some more advanced variables, just click right here. And of course, if you have any further questions or concerns, you can click on the knowledge base or email support links above, or view a tutorial video. I'm just going to close this Help Center window for a second. Now let's just say for an example that I wanted to add in that excerpts variable that I just copied from the Help Center into this title template for posts. I would just put my cursor where I want to paste it. You'll notice that there are spaces between the respective variable placeholders, and I'll just hit Command V to paste it if you're on a Mac, or Control V on a PC, and it will put that variable in there for me. Then I'll just make sure to have a space after the placeholder, and there you go. You just added a variable to the title template. If I leave this here like this, every post that I create will contain that excerpt text inside of the title. Of course, this is not very practical or applicable because an excerpt is quite long, so I'll delete it and make sure that I leave just one space. A more appropriate place to put an excerpt would be in the meta description template, because an excerpt is just a short version of a post, say for example the first paragraph or the first two sentences. For me, I don't need it, so I'll just delete it. I just wanted to show you how you can add variables if you want. Now here I will admit I'm a bit unsure of what advice to give you. This is a bit of a personal opinion area. I have always been told that the only variable you need or really want for SEO purposes is the title, and the rest of it serves no SEO purpose. If you've been watching this video series, at least the last video, you know that Yoast SEO is new for me, as I've always used the all-in-one SEO plugin. And when I watched the Help Center video on this section, the head developer of the plugin, whose name is Yoast, recommends keeping site name in the template because otherwise Google will just add it in anyway, and then Google can change your title, and all the changes you make on this screen will basically be for naught. Now this guy literally created a plugin downloaded by millions of people, so I'm pretty sure he knows what he's talking about. So if you want to keep everything after title and leave this page as is, I certainly won't dissuade you from doing that. For me though, I'm just going to delete all of this. You then have the option of having all your posts indexed by the search engines or not. While there may be some instances where you might want an individual page on your site not indexed, say for example you're having a sale on a product for a day or two, and then taking that page down, moving this slider to no index would not index any posts on your entire site. You definitely don't want that to happen, so leave it at index. You have the option of showing the date in your snippet previews. I try to write evergreen content, so I don't want that. Here's an example of what that looks like from the water bottle example earlier. I'm sure you've seen this many times. And then you can hide or show the meta box that I showed you in the last section, where you can change the title, slug, and meta description of the individual post pages. I definitely want to keep that showing below my posts when I create and edit them. And then for me, it's just rinse and repeat for the rest. I'll delete everything past title for pages and leave index, hide, and show. You can do, of course, whatever it is that you want to do. And then the same for media. Delete this. Oops, I went a little too far there with the delete. Make sure that you've got 2 percentage marks, and leave index, hide, and show. And then I'll save my changes and keep moving on. We're getting very close to the end of this configuration. Now we'll go up to taxonomies. Once you have a few posts sorted into various categories, if a site visitor clicks on one of those categories, all posts within that category will show up on a single page, either as excerpts or full-length posts. This will mean there's the potential to have the exact same content on your actual blog post page and within your categories page, which is a duplicate content issue. The bottom line, you don't want that, so I'll click on no index for those categories, and then Google doesn't crawl them, and the issue is no more. I'll keep the Yoast SEO Meta Box shown. With tags, I basically don't use tags, but either way, just in case I do in the future, I'll click no index. Format is already defaulted to no index, so I'm just going to hit Save Changes and keep rolling. Okay, let's go to Archives. Here we have the same issue with potential duplicate content when someone pulls up a list of posts by the same author, so I'll move the slider to no index so the search engines aren't going to see the archive page. Date archives, already no index by default, so nothing to do there. And these bottom special pages, search pages, if someone does a search on your site and gets served up with your post on a separate search page, and 404 pages, where as a result of a broken link, where a visitor gets misdirected to a URL that no longer exists, etc. In both cases, they are already no index, but the search engines can still follow the links, which is good. Click Save Changes there. We're almost at the end here. The rest of this goes pretty quickly. Let's click on Other. In this site-wide meta settings, it even says here for subpages of archives, don't know why you would want to index these, so let's just slide to no index. This one is already disabled, no one really uses these keyword tags anymore. And this one can stay disabled as well. Let's just save the changes. That is it for the titles and meta section. Let's click on Social on the left sidebar tab and go through here quickly. Basically, if you have any of these social profiles set up, just enter in the respective URL of the page or profile or your username, and then Yoast lets the search engines know that those profiles are associated with this site. Now I'm actually going to have a separate video, video 11, on setting up some of these social profiles like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Google+, so if you're interested in learning how to do that, I hope you join me in that video. But for now, hit Save Changes if you made any. I'll just move on to XML Sitemaps. If you are seeing this option at all on the side here, that means that you enabled it previously in the Advanced Settings pages, inside of the Features tab in the SEO Dashboard, so by default this sitemap is going to be enabled. Now sitemaps are very important, as we talked about at the top of this video. You not only want your site visitor or the search engine searcher to have a great experience on your site and find you in the search engines, but in order for your site to be findable in the search engines, you want to help along the robots of the search engines the best you can as well. Search engine spiders crawl millions of sites, which takes tremendous resources, I'm sure. They come to your site and then go to each page, follow each link, looking for what is new, what has changed, etc. You can help them with the crawling of your site more easily by rolling out the welcome mat by way of a sitemap, which is just a map of all your pages, posts, media, internal and external links. I'm pretty sure just having the XML sitemap enabled means that one has been created for this site already, but just in case, I'll click Save Changes to ensure that it is created. I'm just going to click on this link for XML sitemap just to show you what my sitemap looks like so far. Based on what I've got so far, the program has created 3 separate sitemaps, one for my posts, one for my pages, and one for my categories. If I go to the post sitemap, it will show all the posts that I have so far. Here we can see that so far there are only two. It's got the Hello World post, which I should probably just delete. It doesn't need to be on my site anymore or in the sitemap. And then the registering a domain name with Namecheap post. If you notice here, it shows how many images I have on the Namecheap post. What is worthwhile mentioning is this sitemap is dynamic, meaning that if I created a new blog post, I don't have to come here to update it manually. As soon as I hit the publish button in WordPress, it just gets pulled in here automatically. If I go back and go to pages, it will show the various pages I have published so far. And keep in mind, this site is not live yet, so this sitemap is not yet visible to Google, or at least Google is discouraged from crawling my site so far, so it is up to them whether or not they want to respect that. And then I'll just show you quickly my category pages. If I were to click on Web Presence, it would show you the only page that I have in there yet, the registering a domain name page. So let's just go back to the sitemap index. This here is your XML sitemap. This particular page is like the home page of your sitemap. What's important to take notice of is this part right here. This is where you will find your sitemap if you are using this particular plugin using XML sitemaps. It will be your domain name /sitemap_index.xml. You're going to need to know that URL for later when you go to Google Search Console to let Google know where to find your sitemap. So if you're using the Web Presence password tracker, go ahead and copy that URL and paste it in the XML sitemap URL area of the password tracker below WordPress. We're not going to deal with the Google Search Console here. I'll show you how to do that in video 12. So for now, we'll just close out of this tab. We can keep the max entries at 1,000 for now. I didn't really make any changes since that last save, so let's just go to User Sitemap. It's disabled by default, which for me, since I will be the only author for a while, I can leave as is. If you want to enable it so that your author's archive URLs show up in your sitemap, you can enable it. I didn't make any change, so no need to save changes, but if you did, then make sure to save them. In post types, we're going to have our posts and pages in the sitemap. Media that opens up in a new page, we don't need in a sitemap. It will find the media in the pages and posts themselves. No need to save changes there. Excluded posts, there's no post that I want to exclude from the sitemap per se, so nothing to save there. And then taxonomies, I'm going to keep my categories, tags, and format all in the sitemap, so no changes here either. And that is essentially all that we're going to do inside XML Sitemap. It serves a very important function in helping Google index your site, so if you don't know how to tell Google where your sitemap is, be sure to check out video 12 to see how to do that. Let's click on the Advanced tab for now. Now this first section has to do with breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs are a navigational aid for visitors to your site that lets them know where they are in your site and where they came from. They are typically located above the titles in pages and posts. It's easiest just to show you an example so you can see what I mean. Here's an example from a site called healthline.com. This area here shows the visitor where they are now on the site. The blog post, the 5-minute daily stretching routine, can be found under the fitness and exercise category on the Healthline site, which is the home page. Let's go back to WordPress. Typically for smaller sites or perhaps sites in the beginning stages, breadcrumbs are not that beneficial to the visitor. There just isn't that much content there. So if you are at that stage, I wouldn't worry about this yet. I'm just starting this site, so I'm not going to enable breadcrumbs. You should also know that if you are changing themes, that you may need to either cut and paste a bit of code into your theme, provided your theme supports breadcrumbs, or you can enable it directly in your theme's dashboard if your theme supports the breadcrumbs feature. If you move the slider to enable it, you're presented with different options to change the appearance of how your breadcrumbs are presented. They're pretty self-explanatory. I'll just disable it, no need to save changes, and move on to the next tab, Permalinks. Do I want to have the word category in the path of the URL? For example, trueliftdigital.com/category/web-presence/registering a domain name, etc. I don't need it there, remove. In instances where attachments like PDFs or images are saved on their own page, do I want it so that if someone, say, shares an image via social media and then someone clicks on that image, that they go to a standalone page of that image on my site? Or do I want to have them redirected to the post that the image originally came from? Definitely redirected back to the original post. Do I want stop words in the slugs of my posts? Those are words that don't help from an SEO perspective, like the, or of, or a, words like that. While I could have them automatically removed, I'll just keep them and change the slugs manually when I create the post. I just like to have control over what gets changed so the slug's possible meaning isn't confusing. Keeping the reply to com or reply to comments variables can negatively impact crawling efficiency. Likely nothing I have to worry about for a while, but it may also create opportunities for duplicate content, so I'll remove them for now anyway. I'll leave the redirection of ugly URLs off for now, no redirection, and save changes. And lastly, in this advanced section, RSS. I don't really need anything in this first box, and I like that those trying to potentially copy my content will just link back to the original source, my site, which will tell Google that I created it, not them. No need to save changes. Let's move on to Tools in the sidebar. The Tools tab is just that, tools that Yoast provides to help your SEO efforts. I'll let you peruse that on your own if you like. And lastly, if you want to allow Yoast to pull information from the Google Search Console, formerly Google Webmaster Tools, you can enter in the Google authorization code and authenticate it. I'll show you how to do that in video 12. And the last sidebar tab under the Yoast SEO plugin is the Go Premium tab, which allows you to upgrade to the premium version of the plugin or to purchase additional extensions if you want to extend the Yoast SEO functionality to video, news, or local SEO. So there you go. Congratulations on making it to the end of this video in the configuration of the Yoast SEO plugin. SEO is a very important step on the road to getting more traffic to your site, which, if you effectively monetize that traffic, can directly lead to more conversions and revenue for your business. I hope you found this video helpful and that it provided some insights on what SEO is and how you can use this plugin to improve your rankings in the search results. If you are following along with this entire video series, the next video will be video 10, where I'll walk you through the various options that are available to you within WordPress when it comes to various themes, including free and paid themes, where you can find them, and how I will be installing mine as an example. I'm excited to produce that one because I will be installing a theme myself, which I'm sure will change the look of how my site is going to be presented going forward. Then looking ahead in video 11, we will set up your social profiles, and in the last video of this series, video 12, I'll walk you through installing tracking codes with Google Tag Manager to also help increase your conversion of visitors to buyers. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below in the comments section. And if you're enjoying the videos that we're producing and you'd like to be notified of new ones as they are published, simply click on the subscribe button on your screen right now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.